निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव. Hari Om. We're looking at the self-realization and we're talking about how to see the Lord. And how to see the Lord? Because the life principle in you is the expression of the Lord. So, as a sadhana, as a part of meditation, we went through different steps of meditation and come to a stage where now I want to see the Lord. So the mind is given a navigation of seeing the Lord. And I am now going with the mind, not on the other thoughts, dissipating thoughts, but only on the thought of Ishvara. So I can travel along with the mind where the bhakti or the devotion or love for the Lord takes away all my other loves, raga dveshas. So all the raga dveshas are the kama krodha moha lobha mada matcharya. They are called 6 enemies, and those 6 enemies will automatically go away when you bring the Lord in. So this is what happens. How do I reduce the vasanas? So people ask questions, what should I do? I have a lot of vasanas, I have so desires. And don't ask me not to have desire, because I already have it. If I don't have it, then I say I should not have new ones. But I already have one, what should I do? So simple, no problem. So the Vedanta says, so what you should do is bring Ishvara now. Since you have vasanas and desires, and therefore in order to fulfill those desires, ask him also to enjoy along with you. So that's a very interesting way. He says, oh Lord, I have this desire, but you are with me, so you also enjoy it. So first I have to feed him or let him enjoy, then I can enjoy. That's easy. Then I can also enjoy whatever he enjoys. So I should let the Lord enjoy first. That's essentially what called Naivedyam. Naivedyam means offering to the Lord. What should I offer? The one that you like or should offer. Not, oh Lord only like this. How do you know Lord likes it? Lord likes everything. So what you should offer to the Lord is what you like. Of course there are standards in order to discipline. Lord likes something, and people say you have to give without a salt for the Lord on particular days, because Lord likes the without salt on that day. Unless you have the blood pressure, you don't have to worry about. You give what you think is the best. So when I offer something to the Lord, and Lord is the highest one, I offer the best that I can offer. So if I have a vasanas for the laddu or vasanas for some beautiful dish, make it as good as anything else. But making that you are for the Lord himself, with all the precautions to make sure that is the best, and offer it to the Lord. People ask questions, should I taste it before I do? All these things are sometimes a question. So no, when you are offering the Lord, you should not offer HL. HL means the Juda in Hindi, or what you already tasted. But also the stories in the Ramayana where forgetting the name, Shabari offers the sweetest fruits. So how do you know whether something is sweet or not? So she used to taste little bit, and if it is sour, she used to throw away. Only select those that are really sweet and then give it to offer. Oh, she is making HL. For her, that's not the idea. Mind is not in the HL that I want to taste before the Lord tastes. Mind is I want to offer the best for the Lord, and I want him to please. Lord will not be pleased unless I am pleased. Somebody says, how do you know the Lord is pleased? Don't worry about the Lord. Are you pleased with your action? No, I should have done this way. then how can you expect Lord to be pleased when you yourself are not pleased? So therefore, what you make has to be the best. So if I had to taste, if you think that you cannot make it without best, then taste it and give it so that you are giving the best. Tasting not for your enjoyment, tasting to make sure that it is the right one for the presentation of the Lord. So a different attitude is involved. It's not other people who say you should not be offering. Say let them not offer. That's not the point. When you are doing it, you want to offer the best that you can. That is the message here that I like to give. Other people may have different opinions, but whatever I do has to be the best that I can do. Whether it may be offering there a sweet or a hot or anything, but what you offer to the Lord, you have to eat. People offer it as an naivedyam and put it aside without eating. Then what does that mean? Oh, I offer to the Lord. Lord is everything. Lord doesn't need this food. What he wants is your devotion to the fruit, along with the devotion after you eat whatever. If you taste, that called becomes a prasadam. Prasadam means that is coming from the Lord. So you don't offer Lord prasadam, you offer naivedyam, and what comes from the Lord is prasadam. Thank God, Lord doesn't eat any food, He gives you back everything. All He takes is only your bhakti. Therefore, it says, Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam, Yome Bhaktya Prayatsasi. Whatever you offer with bhakti, I am going to take it. It doesn't matter what you can afford. It's not what you afford. It is your attitude that is, I am offering to the Lord. So you offer your vasanas to Him as your naivedyam. Vasanas expressed in the form of actions, expressed in the form of either food or anything else. Every action is because of the result of asanas. Because I have a desire for coffee, and there I act to make a coffee or get a coffee, then offer that also. So a habit in the particular culture is Ishwararpanamastu, and they used to take. So when I was a child, I used to say Ishwararpanamastu, and then he is taking it. Ishwararpanamastu, you can take it provided you understand you are feeding the Lord in you. That's why before the food is served, they say, okay. So swaha, swaha, when you talk about, they take the Lord of the name and they are putting it to the mouth. So they are essentially feeding the Lord in you first before they eat also. So all these things practice is not for the ritual's sake, but the ritual for helping the mind to keep dwelling on the Ishvara in every action. So Krishna, after saying that Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam, he says in the very next sloka, Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpadam. Says Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, whatever you do and whatever you eat. Oh, this is not a filthy thing, it should not be offered to the God. I may enjoy it, but I should not give it to the God. Lord, you are giving it to the God when you are eating, because Lord is there in you. Therefore, understand the presence of the Lord in you and in everywhere, and when you offer with the attitude becomes important. Therefore Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, yad dadasi yatu, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, and yet whatever the yajna you do, whatever performance you do anywhere, offer it to Him. Whatever you also do, the donations, give it to the Lord in the form of different things. So you're only offering as an naivedyam to the Lord, because everything is His only. In fact, what can you give really? Tadiyam vastu govinda tubhyameva samarpaye. Oh Lord, this is all yours only, but I am giving it to you because I have a notion that this is mine. Because I came into this world with nothing, periodic nothing, not even a dress to wear. Everything is provided for me. Once I entered through my mother's womb, mother food was there, and when I came out, mother gave her own milk, and when I grew up slowly, I started eating from where? From the garden of the Lord only. Everything is His only. And we claim this is mine, that is mine, and greediness, possessing so that other people don't get it, because what you are doing is Lord, other people in the Lord form you are not feeding, and you are storing yourself. If you understand this clearly, you cannot but have chitta vishalata. What are you talking about? Two things: chitta ekagrata, chitta vishalata, expansion of the mind. Expansion of the mind is nothing but seeing the Lord everywhere. Not only in your heart, in everywhere. If I see the Lord everywhere, then my transactions will be proper. There will not be any greediness, jealousies, all negative tendencies automatically drop out because I am seeing the presence of the Lord. Why I don't have greediness or selfishness when I am dealing with my own children? Because I am seeing myself in them. Same way, when I am seeing the Lord everywhere, then all the negative tendencies automatically will drop out. That is one of the beauty of mind evolution, where my mind is expanding now, everything nothing but my own self in everyone, or the God in everyone. I can see the presence of the God. Then I have, what do you call, samadarshanam, equality in vision. In spite of differences outside, I am seeing the presence of the Lord everywhere. That vision keeps, I have a equal vision. Only external forms, Vesham is different, but the essence is the Lord only in various forms. So there used to be a great bhakta called Kanakadasa in the south, the story in the south, and he was eating a bread, and dog was came and stole it bread. When he was kept aside, dog was catch the bread and running away, and he was running behind the dog. Oh sir, oh Lord, there's a butter is not there, you get choked. So he's running with the butter behind the dog, so that he can apply butter, so that the dog can eat better bread. And everybody is laughing, what a stupid fellow he is. But he is able to see the presence of God even in the dog also. That is the bhakti, and that is a jnanam also. Because yo mam pasyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pasyati tasyaham na pranasyami sachame na pranasyati. So this is a Hinduism, this is a Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says this has to be inculcated as a practice. So when I transacting in the world, if I keep that in mind, presence of the Lord. So as a sadhana, initially, first thing in the morning, I had to see my whole program of the day. I already have scheduled, I have to do this, I have to do this, but see the presence of the Lord in all those transactions. So as a prayer, oh Lord, I may forget you in my transactions, busily when I am deeply involved in the transactions. But I want to remember you because I am transacting with you and with you alone in different forms. He may be my boss, he may be my servant, but you are there in and through. I have to deal with the boss as an employee, as a servant. I have to deal with the servant as a boss. But I am independent of this because I see only you only in those forms. But whatever that is required has to be done. Just as a scientist sees the electrons, protons and neutrons and looks at the garbage, it's also electrons, protons and neutrons, but disposes of garbage in the plate has to be done. Whereas they preserves the delicious food, even though it is the same electrons, protons and neutrons. Same means at least same category. So therefore, even though I have oneness at the vision, I can transaction as is required at the transactional level. Therefore Krishna says, says essentially Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. There's a famous sloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunischaiva Sopakecha the Panditaha Samadarshanaha Sunischaiva Sopakecha Panditaha Samadarshanaha. Samadarshanam, equal vision is being emphasized here. And Panditaha, the one who has realized, who has a wise person, Panditaha, Anusochanti Panditaha, that's how Bhagavad Gita starts. Those Pandits will not cry. Why? Because he has the equality of the vision here. Samadarshanam and Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. That is real yoga. So Krishna defines yoga in several ways, and here it says Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This is called yoga. Means this is a maturity of the yoga, where I have the vision of the yogic vision, yoking the mind into that state where I have samatvam, equality. What is equal here? It says Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmanaha. One who is a scholar, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmana, a seeker who is expert in everything, and we respect a scholar because of the knowledge he has. So that who is highest in that who has the knowledge of everything, that's called Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha. He is Sampatti, he is having the knowledge of wealth as a knowledge. That by the wise person, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmanaha. Gavi is the cow. So he's coming down, Krishna says, in the vision of the Brahmin or in the cow. Hastini, in the elephant. So I am looking at a wise person, a scholar one side, another side a cow, and third is an elephant. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. Sunischaiva, and looking at the dog also, and Sopakecha, one who is a dog eater, whom you don't like at all, you hate looking at the person because he is eating even the dogs also. So that which is the greatest help for the human, the greatest friend of the humanity, that's what dog is considered. And he is eater of the dog. Sorry, we don't know which country eats a lot of dogs anyway, don't worry. But eater of the dog comes under the lowest category, but he has Samadarsanaha. He sees the oneness in all the. So the wise man is equal to cow, equal to elephant, equal to a dog, equal to dog eater. So what kind of Bhagavad Gita is that? It says one who sees oneness that pervades in spite of these differences is Panditaha, is a real wise person. So how can he see oneness pervading everything? Number one, everybody is alive. Number two, so one who has the vision of the life itself, life principle, whether it's a wise person or in the cow, same life. And the elephant or a dog eater. So my vision is not in the superficial attributive content. Each attribute is different. Brahmana is a Brahmana. We respect him. Brahmana is a Brahmana. And a cow is where cow belongs. We don't have to put cow somewhere else. And elephant is where it should be elephant in its environment. And a dog is a dog, and a dog eater is dog eater. But my vision of them is completely, if I have a Ishvara Darshanam, then it becomes a Samadarshanam. So a Panditaha sees the Ishvara everywhere as one all pervading, and that becomes a real wise person. So now I have to develop in the morning itself as a sadhana, as a meditation, train the mind to be able to see, sir, I'm going to meet so many people, I want to see you in all, while I'm transacting. This is the first thing in the morning. Then all do other things. Then in the night when you go to sleep, bring the Lord in again. Oh sir, these are the cases where I forgot to recognize your presence, and I gave left and right to the this eye and that eye and behaved like this. because I forgot your own presence. Please help me next day so that I won't forget. I don't forget it at all. So remind myself that I had to remember. So this is essentially training the mind to keep this vision, and if it misses it, again make the mind to recognize that you missed it. Okay, most of the time we don't recognize it. So if I recognize that I made a mistake with somebody, I go and apologize if I can. So that way, my mind, whether he excuses or not is my problem. My mind is not agitated in the process. So before I go to sleep, remember, I am sorry, Lord, I gave left and right for you without recognizing your presence. In that way, I am handing over everything, and I can now comfortably sleep. That please remind me tomorrow that I don't do these things again. So if I do this for 1 month as a sadhana, first thing in the morning, recognize the presence of the Lord and invoke the presence of the Lord in all your transactions before itself. And in the night, invoke the presence of the Lord and also invoke where you forgot about Him and why you misbehaved because of forgetting. So repenting or saying sorry to the Lord and please excuse me, please help me next time so that I don't do this again. Because you need the Lord help every time. So if you do that 1 month, I can guarantee that your mind automatically does this. So it becomes a samatvam yoga uchyate. That equanimity of the vision comes a natural. That's why it is difficult to control the mind. They say abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha krishnate. So vairagya is important and abhyasa is important. Vairagya means not becoming a sannyasi with an orange robe. You have to give up the superficial. He is a brahmana, he is a cow, he is all superficially, they are different. We are giving up that, but constant giving up means my mind attention is not on that. For transacting, I need to transact. Cow is different and the elephant is different. No confusion there. Dog is a dog eater is a dog eater. But my vision should be oneness that pervades also. So that is the samatvam, that is the equal vision, that is essentially seeing the presence of the Lord everywhere. Because why? This is not just a superficial statement, because scripture itself says, I myself became many. Now we are using the jnanam as a part of my sadhana. So now why is the jnana yoga and bhakti yoga is not really different? This is the reason. My bhakti culminates in terms of becoming a jnanam. So if you look at Krishna's statement, Chaturvidha bhajanti mam, there are 4 ways people worship me. Artho, artharthi, jignasu, jnanincha bharatarshava. So these are 4 bhaktas. The one artho, one desperately when I am in need he thinks of me. Otherwise he doesn't even think. So even atheist, if you watch him, he comes to a situation where he was in desperate mode. Oh Lord, I do not know whether you are there or not. Please come and help. So he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Telugu also in the Gajendra Moksham, in the elephant, when the elephant was catching the crocodile, says I don't know you are not there or you are there or not. So if you are there, please come and help me. That's how it starts saying. Says people they say he is there, but I don't know whether he is there or not. If he is there, at least please come on. So an atheist also ultimately, when it becomes a desperate, if everything is there, he doesn't have to think of God. If all the 9 yards, food, everything is coming, he can deny there is no God and everything. Only things become difficult and he depends on something and no one to help, at least he becomes a prayerful at that time. Oh Lord, in case you are there, please help me. And that becomes a prayer. So, but the very fact that I have a life in me, because he doesn't know what God really means, the very fact that I am alive and the whole world is nothing but the God, therefore if I have that vision, then the samatvam yoga uchyate, the equanimity of the vision comes. This becomes a bhakti. So Jignasu and Jnani are also bhaktas. So one is artharthi. Artho means desperately when he is in need he wants. And artharthi is the one who goes to temple with a big list all the time, and in the puja room, please help this, help that, give a big list of things. All that is artharthi. Artharthi. He wants wealth rather than God. Yeah, I am there ready to help you. No, I don't want you be there, but I want only wealth. So this is an artharthi. Jignasu is the one who wants to know about God. He is a better bhakta than all the other two. So Jignasu, at least he wants to know, says, I am praying God, but what is the God? So he wants to know more about God, and he is the third highest, higher than the other two who have a big list. If you don't have a list, don't worry about it, but think of the Lord in the form of inquiring into the Lord itself is the bhakti. That's what the implication is, Jignasu. And the highest one is who knows that everything is nothing but God alone. And that is the bhakti ultimate. And Krishna says, he is the highest bhakta of all the four. Therefore, jnanam and bhakti are not really different. But what is the jnanam? Acharyas differ in explaining what exactly is the bhakti, that jnanam means. Even Bhagavan Ramanuja says jnani is important, but not jnani in terms of self-knowledge, but jnani in terms of Ishvara. I am part of you, I depend on you. All that statements of that is a part of the jnanam, because I am only a tiny guy and you are a big guy, please help me. So sarvadharman parijyacha mamekam saranam vraja. You have to do sharanagati as the means for salvation. Then only daivim esha gunamayi mamamaya durachaya mameva e prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So Krishna says, this maya of mine is of divine origin, and one cannot cross by an effort. One has to surrender completely to whom? So he says, surrender to me. Mameva e prapadyante. So you have to surrender to me to cross the samsara. So the Visishtadvaita interprets that as Mameva means you have to do Narayana alone, not any other gods, because Narayana alone can save you from this, from the Maya, which is of the divine. So that Maya is an obstruction and I cannot cross over, and therefore I have to surrender. That is his path, where lack of that understanding is ajnanam. And jnani is the one who understands that I have to surrender. And surrender doesn't depend on me. My surrendering depends on me, but whether he accepts is not depending upon him only. Since he is very strict, I better to go through mother. Mother is very, very compassionate, and even however dirty the child is, mother cleans it up without thinking that it's dirty, because it's our own child, and cleans it up and dresses up properly, and then present it, Father, our beta has come beautifully, and then Father says, oh my God, this is my son, okay, let him come. So how do I go? Instead of directly approaching him, go through Lakshmi. So that's what essentially mother is nothing but go through her to recognize him, or to go to the abode. And this, for them, the moksha is only after death. That is, you go through, the jiva travels. Once you surrender, sharanagati, you travels around and reaches and crosses, take a bath in the Vaitarini Nadi, and you get a new body conducive to enter into the Vaikuntha Loka, where, what do you do there? You have to serve the Lord, because there are already people waiting for your arrival, because they know new person is coming, and they want to make sure that, like a welcome party, and make sure that you are settled properly, and they take you to the Lord, and you are given a particular duty, that where you can do your duty. So that is the nature of where you will be serving the Lord. You are only tiny guy and he is a big guy. So this is, he has to bless you. That is the moksha according to them. But According to Advaita, this recognition of the very fact that Lord is everywhere, because there is nothing other than the Lord, then I don't have to go to Vaikuntha to see the Lord, because Lord is everywhere. He is not in the form of four hands and all that. He is in every form that I see the Lord. That vision becomes the bhakti, that becomes the jnanam. Now we also address what is Sharanagati and all that a little bit, so that we understand what exactly implication of that means. Then you can apply it, and whether whatever background you have, you can apply it clearly to see and recognize the presence of moksha, the Lord Himself. With that we stop here. Now we are coming closer and closer to self-realization and God realization. These are the questions we ask. God realization is not different from self-realization, and that we will be talking in the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.